Oh man, this is a bit of both shameless fan service and pure boyish Roman enthusiasm, but it's time to bring back the long on hiatus Roma Galactica II series. The original playlist is still online, and we're picking up right where we left off. Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Stellaris Ancient Relics in our Roma Galactica 2.5 series. So, since the original series starts, plural, we're in MegaCorp, and now we're in Ancient Relics, and we're a few patches deeper into the game's development. Why not restart completely, you might wonder. One, we've already restarted this series once. I recorded 15 minutes in episode 1.5 of open commentary about why, because it was a contentious decision. Two, it didn't feel right to even think about Roma Galactica 3 without finishing Roma Galactica 2. And number three, we already have a From the Beginning Ancient Relics series going called Legacy of the Forerunner. So now that that series is on break, it felt like the right time to start Roma Galactica 2 back and to do it in the form of a brand new playlist since we're in such a new version of the game. So this is the episode 38 starting save from back in the day. I've barely touched it because I want to dive back in with you guys. So as an episode 1, this is going to be kind of interesting for viewers who find this series and maybe haven't been on the channel before. Like I said, this is a bit of fan service. We're picking up a series that people were already watching because I don't want to not finish it. I don't want to give myself the dissatisfaction or anyone else the dissatisfaction of the series never finishing. So it's going to take a minute to kind of refamiliarize ourselves, to see what kind of things like the inactive civics we have to change as a result of bringing an old save into a new patch. I don't believe, and hopefully I'm wrong about this, but at the same time, it's not going to bother me if I am correct. I don't believe that there will be any artifacts to discover, given that we've already fully explored the galaxy. Maybe in the undiscovered systems, that's not the case, but my guess would be, since this is an old save, there's probably a contingency built into the update code for when Ancient Relics launched that old saves just wouldn't have discoverable Ancient Relics. Like, maybe not even a contingency, but Ancient Relics are only generated in new galaxies created in the current version of the patch, and therefore, why would they be in this game? So I don't know that there would actually be any archaeological sites to dig through, but that's okay. We're already at a point where we obviously have an established empire and borders that are butting up against everyone else, and we need to remind ourselves now who the heck everyone is. So that's enough yakking from me. Let's go ahead and start slowly. We're going to start with the major notifications here. We have an inactive civic because, of course, as you might recall, let's take a look here. We are a technocracy, but one of the major changes in the most recent update to the game, I totally blame A-Spec for this, 150%, but I actually don't blame him because I agree. But it is his fault. Technocracy is now nested behind fanatic materialist. So you're not allowed to be a technocracy anymore if you're not fanatic materialist. And we, of course, are authoritarian militarist materialist. So we are, once we build up the influence for it, going to have to reform our government to get rid of the technocracy civic. And we'll add another one, I imagine, in its place. But that's what that notification is. We just have to wait until, let's see, we have 250 influence. So we're going to build up roughly to that point as soon as we can. That's priority number one. Looks like the Dabulan Free Traders. We'll go through our neighbors in just a moment to kind of get a sense again for who our enemies are, who our friends are, and who we're in a federation with. Even there's a lot to catch up on, so I don't want to, bulldoze through this too quickly. The Dabulan Free Traders who are right here. And I remember our relationship with them being somewhat ambiguous, have declared the Raxar hegemony, which is, I believe, where's the hegemony? Why do I feel like they were closer to me than that? Oh, they're right next to me. Those words were smaller than the rest of them. Don't blame me. Okay, so these two have declared a rivalry, which I'm not sure I like being in between them, but that could be a good thing for, I guess, them not being at war with each other. And it looks like planet Escrivium, Elysium, Triana, and Hades have finished their construction queue. So speaking of construction queue, we have things to work through. But since I mentioned it, let's, before we go too far micro and start looking at individual planets, we have the Roman Star Empire, and we have several neighbors. Now, what is our relationship with our neighbors like? Let's go ahead and go to this screen and get a bit of a sense for it. First of all, we are a member of the Galactic Axis Federation, and it's the Raxar hegemony that we're in that relationship with. So again, not the best thing in the world that the Dabulan Free Traders have declared these guys their rival because we share a border with them. So we might have to make like the Romans and integrate them later on in the series, but we're hoping not necessarily. We have a number of friends, as I remember, in this particular series. We're not being too aggressive, not for lack of wanting to, but just because things have worked out to where we are doing pretty well on the diplomatic front. So we are an overlord of the Galactic Multics Union, and that's right here, as you recall. So they're a protectorate under us. And then we have rivaled the Mandasura Star Union, the Dabulan Free Traders, so we have already rivaled them, forgot about that, and the Veteresius Confederation. So where are they? So the Mandasura Star Union is right there, way over there, and then the Veteresius Confederation is right there. And of course, we have been rivaled by the Free Traders, by the Terran Republican Realms. Where are you guys again? Right here. Relatively large empire to our far to our galactic northeast. And then the Mandasura Star Union. And then we are in a research agreement with the Raxar Hegemony. We have a migration treaty with the Raxar Hegemony and the Galactic Multics Union. And we have closed borders to the Terran Republican Realms and the Kasvalia Mercantile Guilds. We have a casus belli on the Free Traders, the Mandasura Star Union, and the Veteresius Confederation. And we have several casus belli from other empires. You can read that tooltip if you like. So there's that. Now, let's jump in to the species that are members of our empire. We won't go through this in too much detail, but one of the really cool things about this playthrough and how it kind of incorporates themes from actual ancient Rome is that we have a number of different peoples that have become part of our society as a result of being integrated or just migrating in by a relationship with us. So it's not necessarily a perfect mirror because ancient Rome would have integrated peoples that they had conquered. We've had a number of people come in from migration agreements and other things like that, but just tons and tons. Let's look at maybe the most significant. Obviously, we have lots of humans, and I think we're currently in the process of, yes, we're modifying some of the last unmodified humans. We're also modifying our robots for the first time, which we'll look at this when we go more micro, but I don't know if we've built too many robots yet. I don't think we have. Kind of funny, actually, because in the current, we're waiting to record episode 21 of Legacy of the Forerunners, of course, until this series has had a while. But in that series, the other Ancient Relics series on the channel right now, we are also at the point of building our first robot. So there's some synergy there. I'm liking that. All right, now, where was I? We're looking at species. Yes. So then the Raxar, obviously. Our neighbors and friends, the Raxar, are our immediate second biggest population. And then, of course, there's the half Raxar as well that have I was about to say infiltrated. They've not infiltrated. They have just invested themselves in our territory. And then the Skrek, the Ganvius, the Hejum, and the Jiranshu are some of our most populated. So it looks like we do have some robots already in play, 13 to be exact. And we'll see where they're being produced once we go a little bit more micro. But before I go down to be too planet specific, you might realize that we have one particular issue in the form of needing to redo our sectors. Currently, our only sector is the core sector, and that is everything within 4 jumps of Sol. So we're looking now at Sol, you know me. We're looking at the frontier sector, and we need to generate new sectors based on the location of planets. So up here in the Hixum sector, we have Colonia Neritum and Colonium Spalatum. And again, what we're doing in this series is we remove the Colonia label, the colony label from the beginning once it's a fully formed colony without the reassembled ship shelter at its core. So once it's self-sustaining, so to speak. And remember, we have another thing that's recently happened, a couple of things, before I get too far into the micro. A couple of major plot elements that have been developments in the past 2 episodes of this series. If you're not going to go back and watch Roma Galactica II, the original, that's not 2.5 and everything part of this playlist, we have the enigmatic cache that's hanging out around Colonia Neritum, so that's giving us a research bonus on Colonia Neritum. Now, that's not very significant right now because this only has 7 pops, but still, that's a pretty big deal. Even bigger deal than that, though, we just got Cybrex Alpha, which means we're going to have a ring world, and I really loved this in the last episode. I know it's been so long, and I'm so happy to jump back in and be playing this again with you guys, especially since I have kind of a Roman-themed channel, so it's like, How have we not done this sooner? We'll do a look ahead at some point in the near future, and that's my hope, and we'll talk about the long hiatus and all that. But yeah, in the previous take on this series, before we did the restart in episode 14 of Roma Galactica 2, we had a ring world and lost it, and the fact that we found this again is a pretty big frackin' deal. So I'm excited about that too. On the subject, though, of our territory and the sectors we need to build, I feel like this is one good sector capital right here. So we could go with, let's take another look here. Yeah, Colonia Neritum is the main planet, and then Spalatum is actually on a moon, which is a tundra world of this continental world, Neritum. So I think Neritum is going to be the sector capital. That's rather obvious. Let's create a new sector, and then zoom back out. Boom, that is now a sector. Everything within 4 jumps of that territory. What's next? I feel like Cybrex Alpha will probably need to be a sector capital that will eventually encapsulate that colony, but for now, let's see, we have Hyperborea, which has 9 pops, so it's ready to go, and this would take 1, 2, 3, 4. It would take everything in this area. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. I actually rather like the fact that Hyperborea would also encompass some of this stuff, though. So hang on. Do we have a better colony, like Nova Parthia? 26 pop colony that would take 1, 2, 3, 4. The Giulia system would get left out, but all of this would be integrated. And there's also Triana, which has 23 pops. Mostly, it seems... Who are these pops? Oh, wow. Looks like Ornathi. They're Gerontiu, but they look like Ornathi, don't they? All right, so we have some pre-sapients on that world. Not really a lot of humans on Colonia Triana, which makes sense. It's a frozen world. However, Nova Parthia does have a large human population. So I feel like that might be where we go. There's also Elysium. Let's not forget that. And that's a tropical world. So that would encompass 1, 2, 3, 4. All this stuff would become frontier territory, which isn't the worst thing. So that would make the Elysium sector a very lucrative sector kind of in this corner. Go 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I think I like that idea most. Let's make this a new sector. All right, so the Giulia system is not in our territory, but that is now the Elysium sector. And then I believe we have... what's the hotkey for... Oh, sweet. I hit it right away. Planets and sectors. So this is going to be the Neritum sector. And I'm not going to automate building on these sector worlds. I'm not. We might be able to assign some... Oh, yeah. We have all of our governors from previous colonies that we can reassign. So I'll look at that in a moment. But I'm not going to... we're just not going to automate building. I'm going to keep managing all of the planets individually as long as I can. But let's see what we can do down here. We have Nisa, which is 20 pops, but kind of a frozen world. Looks like we have some upgrades we need to do. We have Nova Aegyptus, which is 24, or room for 24 pops, has 21 pops. That might be the one for this area. Let's go ahead and do that. Create new sector. There we go. That's the Nova Aegyptus sector. Everything in here. And it seems like Nova Britannia. Create new sector. All right, so those obviously are not the sector names that we had previously, and I might change those in episode 2, but I'm okay with a little bit of narrative flexibility there as well. So now our sectors are in play. We have, there. All right, now it's processed and it's properly set up the outliner with our different sectors. So one thing I could do is just open the planets menu and have that showing all of my worlds, which I kind of feel like, yeah, let's do that, because I am going to keep managing everything, so I'd rather just be able to look up and down and address problems as I see them. So that's that. We are currently still building up on some of our stations. We have pretty good resource situation. Looks like we have a slight mineral shortage and food shortage. And also, we are not producing any volatile motes at the moment, so we'll probably have to do some resource production there on one of our worlds. Research-wise, what are we doing? I'll look at our governors for our sectors in just a moment. Research-wise, we are researching the antimatter reactor with 10 months remaining, habitability with some amount of time remaining. Actually, the entire project is still to come. And then mineral purification hubs. Mineral purification hubs is about, looks like 20%, just shy of 20% complete. So, and these two researchers are both, I forgot that we have Sobak, the Bathers right here. Not to be confused with the Blorg. But the species modification project is running there, and the robot modification project is running there. Okay, so sector governors. Let's see. Neritum is... All right, Elysium is a huge research sector, so I think I've got a few governors at least that... Yes, are research leaders and would reduce crime. So Statius Lentidius just became the governor of that sector. That was easy. And then Nova Aegyptus is our second biggest research sector. Let's see if we have any other researchers. Okay, well, we can get Milv, son of Murray. If we wanted that. He'll increase trade value. That's probably the best of the remaining leaders that I have. And also, of course, they're righteous, so the crime reduction. Let's do that. And then Nova Britannia isn't much for research production, but is more of a mineral production sector as of this moment. So let's see if there's anything in that category. Not really. Leader experience gain. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and dismiss you. You're older and you're stubborn, so you're not as useful to the continued growth of the Roman Star Empire. Sorry, didn't even look at your name. Just away with you. Leader lifespan plus 25 years and crime. I mean, I suppose the crime reduction governors are going to be the best ones to go with. So Hasta Laserius is now the governor there. One more. Neritum sector, and it looks like, yeah, you, Primus Virius, are set up there. Okay. Now, with that being done, let's dive in and start looking a little bit more micro at some of our notifications here. Earth, of course, has 69 pops. It's grown quite large. We have not terraformed Mars yet. We need to build up the energy for that. Ascrivium, you do have an amenities issue, so we can go ahead and upgrade the holo theaters there to make that a little bit less of a problem. Now, I don't know that we need to increase our production of consumer goods right now, so I will hold off on those upgrades. However, it does seem that we need to build... Okay, we need specialist pops here, or specialist jobs here. So building something as a basic district wouldn't necessarily accommodate that unemployment. Let's go into Colonia Hyperborea and look at the same thing. Specialists unemployed here as well. So is this all specialist unemployment? Oh, we have a ruler unemployment, interestingly enough. All right, yeah, so this is all specialist unemployment. Nova Aegyptus has specialist unemployment as well, but they also have a housing issue. So I'm going to go ahead and build an additional city district, especially since we have so much room for them there. Colonia Nisa has specialist unemployment. Okay. So, I mean, part of me wants to go ahead and just build additional resource production buildings anyway, and they'll eventually demote, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I feel like that's the right course of action. All right, we already have a mining district building there, evidently, and then the Hixum station is building a fleet academy, and we'll have room for something else here. Anything else that I need in terms of trade? I don't think so. Let's turn that back on for a moment. No, we'll turn it off. Don't need it. I always do that. It's like, oh, let's use that. Just kidding. Never mind. Don't care. I guess a hangar bay. This was something pointed out in a recent episode of Legacy of the Forerunners 2, which I haven't messed around with as much. But when you build a hangar bay, that helps trade protection. in this region, or at least in that system. So that's quite good. All right, now the Jormundir station also needs a little bit of love. Let's go and do an off-world trading company there. And then the Zoldyor station also needs an off-world trading company. It's fine by me. Okay, so now that we've looked at that, before I go to 2 micro, and we're still waiting on the inactive civics. Yeah, so we've accepted that migration treaty, I think. That's already part of the existing story. Let's take a look at our policies and such. Right now we have several edicts running. We don't have Map the Stars running, but we're not really exploring as much anymore. I think all of our science ships are assisting research already, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they are. We have several colony ships in play. So one is heading to Zoldyor 2A. Another is heading to... I told you, there'd be a lot to catch up on. We're going to play a little bit this episode, but there's so much to review, just not only for my sake, but for yours. Orgleon 3D, and then we have Stellaria 2. So we have a number of colonies starting here, and not really an energy deficit to speak of. That might change once the colonies are being established, but then once they're fully established, it will go away. Still some discussion to be had about how much of an influence that is in the current version of the game, because I'm aware that maybe there are some changes to how much energy gets sucked away when you have some colony ships in play, and when some colonies are being established. That used to be something you always had to look out for in your energy economy. Okay, so back to policies. Let's see. Here we go, policies. So we are in unrestricted wars, and we are in rapid deployment as a war doctrine. Orbital bombardment is indiscriminate. Native interference is unrestricted. Native enlightenment prohibited. Resettlement allowed. Land appropriation allowed. We are aggressive on first contact. Open in our initial border status, which is a weird contradiction. Nutritional plenitude is set as our food policy. Our economic policy is mixed economy. So nutritional plenitude means that we have... Our population requires more food to survive, but our population is happier and grows faster. And then the economic policy is mixed economy, so we don't have a civilian-based economy. See, part of me, maybe a militarized economy would be a good idea, because we have such a surplus in consumer goods and an ability to build upgrades to bolster that surplus. Worth thinking about. Trade policy, wealth creation. So trade value currently just becomes energy, but we could have trade value also becoming energy and consumer goods, but that would dramatically affect our energy income. Artificial intelligence is set to servitude. Robotic workers are allowed. Pre-sapients are tolerated. Refugees are welcome. Population is allowed. Slavery is allowed. Population control is allowed. Slavery is allowed. And purging is prohibited. Okay. Now the last question that I have before I can actually unpause and let things kind of go and let the game resume at long last. I know we've been waiting a long time, not only in the series hiatus, but in this episode. Let's take a look at where we're producing robots. All right, we do have some robots being produced on Earth. Where else are we producing robots? We're producing robots on Regia. Okay. Just, something good to have to kind of have tabs on. Where are these being built? So Earth and on Regia, they're being built. Okay. Let's go up to speed.
Our
3.
pioneers have made planetfall.
Good.
Our pioneers have made planetfall.
A couple of colonies kicking in here. Looks like we have... This is a commercial pact from the Juranshu Coalition. They're Federation builders. You know what? Let's go ahead and take this. Interdimensional trade decreases. The mirror dimension Roman Star Empire reports that their economy is in decline due to a series of defeats at the appendages of the warp beasts. Hopefully they will recover. Leaders gained a level. Secundus Lucia Hadrianus, who is currently not doing anything. Let's go back to our leaders, by the way, and dismiss any other leaders we're not using. Or potentially put leaders in better positions. Yeah, let's dismiss Marcus Hatirius, because these guys are eating up energy right now. Let's dismiss Vopisca Epius. Okay, we'll keep... Well, I don't know that we need to keep you around either. Let's dismiss you too. Let's be efficient about this. Yeah, you can see that our energy income took a big hit. Also, oh wow, it's all over the place right now. Not quite sure why. Might have to do with the colonies establishing, as I was just saying.
Construction complete.
But we've got a pretty good buffer. Food-wise, we're in much better shape now. So I'm not particularly concerned. Peace offer. Cospalia Mercantile Guilds has made peace with the Gox Confederate Stars.
Construction
Alright, so we've completed
complete.
the modifications to the humans. Let's dive in really quickly and make sure... Is there not a hotkey for species? No, there's not. Okay, so now we have no unmodified humans, no wasteful humans whatsoever in our territory, which means our consumer goods upkeep situation has gotten even better, as you can see. Fantastic news. Good to see the sectors laid out so nicely again.
Special project complete.
Keep an eye on my energy situation. Okay, yeah. This is all over the place. It might just be pops moving around to different jobs. But now we have a great energy situation. Also, I need to specialize my colonies. It's just occurred to me that that's going to be kind of important. So we'll work on that before the end of the episode. Lots of just kind of customization to do to this latest patch. Oh, also, just so you can see this. What is it? F7 or F8? F8, there we go. Don't have any relics, obviously. But we have finished the expansion tree, finished discovery, finished supremacy, and we're working on prosperity. And that'll help with some of our current predicament. But okay, so Earth has a slot for... It needs more housing, and it needs an additional building. So we have Stronghold, a couple of advanced research complexes, a couple of megaforgers, a couple of civilian fabricators, gene clinics, Autoton Monument, robot assembly plant, energy nexus, and a couple of luxury residences. And yet we still have amenities issues. So why don't we go ahead and make sure that people on Earth are nice and happy, since it is Earth after all, and throw down some hollow theaters. Ascrivion has, it appears, a housing issue, so it might be time to build an additional city district there. Regia has some specialist worker issues. Let's go ahead and build another... Well, hang on. Wait. Alright, so there are still some available jobs that people could downgrade into, so I'm not going to build additional districts. I've already done that on a few of my worlds, and we want to make sure that those don't go away on their own as pops downgrade. Okay, so world specialization. Earth is... We can't set up a...
Construction complete.
Yeah, we can't set up a colony designation for Earth, because it's Earth. But Aurora could be a... Yeah, this could be an energy world, or it can be an agri world. I feel like Aurora maybe should be a generator world, because that's where there's the most space here. So let's make you a generator world. Augusta is currently set to... Oh, it's actually set to be an... Okay, there are still... I wasn't looking at this, but it's quite obvious there are still some set with their designations. So I guess they're being picked, yeah, automatically, which is fine by me. So this is an agri world, which I suppose makes sense. Colonia Emerita hasn't been around long enough. And we also have some upgrades we need to consider. So much to do to get our feet wet again, I know. Okay, well, I'm mostly liking what I'm seeing here. Oh wait, this is a refinery world? Hold that thought. What's a refinery world exactly? I don't think this should be a refinery world. I think this should be... I feel like Nova Parthia should be an agri world. It's a small colony. Let's just make it an agri world. So these automatic designations are actually not particularly good. Maybe we will go back through. Agri world's fine there. Yeah, this definitely needs to be a generator world. This is an agri world. Pacifica, that's unquestionable. I think Regia is... I think there's an argument for Regia being an agro world as well, but it's not... Right now it's set as a generator world. We'll leave it that way. Elysium, definitely an agro world. Scythia... Well, Elysium... Hang on. Could eventually be an urban world. We'll keep it at agro world for now, but when this population grows, we could change that. The phrase agro world is giving my phonetics a little bit of trouble. Agro world. Agro world. Okay. If I say it quickly, I feel like I lose some pronunciation. But that's just me talking too fast for my own good, as usual. What else? I don't think we have any other worlds. So this is a tech world? What does that mean? Alright, so yeah, that doesn't make any sense either. This should, if anything, be an agro world for now. Yeah, I don't agree with you being a generator world either. That's an agro world. Triana is currently set to be an urban world, which that's also not very good. Well, actually, yeah, that makes sense for me. It's not currently an urban world, but it will eventually be one, because God knows there's enough space. Okay, let's let the game run. Dearest customer, we regret to inform you that the trade deal we negotiated for the export of exotic gas to the worlds of the Roman Star Empire has run its course. We are, of course, more than willing to extend the deal for another 10 years if you have the energy credits to spare. Very well. We wish to extend the deal. So, what do we currently have? Let's go ahead and say 3 exotic gases for 30 energy credits per month. Goodbye. Also, our fleet situation. Yeah, that's right. Classis 1
complete.
Is patrolling just between these star systems. We don't have another fleet yet. We don't much have room for one.
Construction complete.
But as you can see here, this is quite the epic fleet. We've got the caravan cruiser here with the rest of the Roman Star Empire's initial fleet. Several cruisers, a handful of destroyers, and some corvettes.
Construction complete.
Okay, so the Riador station has been built. Why was I building you here? I'm guessing to collect trade value. Seems like that would have been the sensible choice. Yep, let's go ahead and do the trade hub so that we can collect that and that. We're going to need a little bit more than 2 trade hubs, though, to get to Pila's trade value. That's fine, but Fulkel is going to be accessible pretty quickly. Just build a couple of trade hubs. Oh, we can also build a nebula refinery there. Nice. That'll help with our mineral situation for sure. All right, let's go ahead and upgrade the Hyper Entertainment Forum there.
Science Division report success.
Okay, antimatter reactor has finished researching. Energy credits from technicians plus 20%. Probably a good idea given my current situation. No. There we go. Also, looks like robot modification is done. The Lila Robius Mercantile Union has opened their borders to us. How kind of them.
Construction complete.
All right, the Capacity Overload Edict and the Diplomatic Grants Edict have both expired, and we don't have the influence. How much do we need? 200 or 250 to reform our government? 250. So we're gonna have to do that next episode. And my God, we're at 33 minutes in already.
Message traffic.
Trade deal offer from the Caspalia Mercantile Guilds. That I do have a decent relationship with. Where are the Caspalians again? Are they all the way... Oh, they're up here. So they're going to give me a lot of energy credits and a lot of minerals. I'm going to take this... It might affect my influence generation situation, but that's okay. We'll see if it does. We'll just watch that monthly gain number in about 10 days. 5 days. Nope, didn't affect it.
Construction complete.
Independence guaranteed. Tebran Republican realms will now guarantee the independence of the Hejim Trade Commission. So where is that? As a reminder, the Hejim Trade Commission, I believe, is right here. And the Tebran Republican realms. Okay, so these guys are now being guaranteed by the Republican realms.
Construction complete.
Interesting development there. All right, let's go ahead and give this ship upgrade order. We are hemorrhaging energy. Holy crap. All right, no, now it changed.
Complete.
It's got to be due to the establishment of so many colonies at once. That has to be
message traffic.
There are lots of pops moving around to different jobs, mostly, I would imagine, due to the different patch changes. So it's pops kind of reorganizing themselves. Honored humans, we propose strengthening our ties further by granting us association status to the Galactic Axis. Sure. You're on good standing. We can make you associates. Not a problem at all. Okay, what else can we do here? We have...
Science Division report success.
We have the Sol Station doing some upgrades. Founder species is on the slave market. One popular founder species human is up for sale on the slave market. Not a fan of that. I'm guessing, the reason I'm looking at this is I'm personally guessing, well, let's go ahead and just do it this way. Okay, so we don't have a destination planet in order to buy them. That stinks. I was going to see if we could buy them back and like free them that way, but I suppose that's not an option. All right, so we can reinforce the Federation fleet. With what, though? It looks like they have full capacity. I'm not quite sure. We're currently in charge of the Federation, so we have control of the Federation fleet. But okay, we've got a lot to do here. Hyperborea is about to become a full-fledged colony, which is great news. So our economy is kind of chaotic at the moment as I think pops readjust and we establish several new colonies at once. We also will be terraforming the ring world in Cyberx Alpha in episodes to come, and then we'll have to see, we're already past the midpoint of the game, so we're going to have to be preparing for endgame level stuff as we continue to bolster our internal economy. But it is phenomenal, that word, to be playing Roma Galactica 2 again. It's been a long time. I appreciate very much the patience of everyone that was watching this series enthusiastically when it first came out. You guys have left so many nice comments and supportive comments waiting for it to come back, and you've been great. So now that we are in again, hopefully you're enjoying. Again, I know there was a lot of review in this episode, and that was necessary, I think, to get people caught up, especially if you weren't watching before. But even if you were, I think it was a good thing to do regardless. Next episode will have a lot more gameplay focus in terms of making progress and hopefully getting our economy sorted before it gets too much worse. We certainly have some decisions to make along our outliner here, but I'll stop this one for now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this return to Roma Galactica 2, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along if you're not subscribed already. New episodes are going to be coming out every day at 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and of course, Legacy of the Forerunners will be back after this series has had 20 episodes in its initial run here. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.